Sunsoft was like many other companies publishing games on the Sega Genesis. They had some good, some bad, and some that were just average. The Immortal John Hancock here with another ranking video, and I'm having a lot of fun doing these on my channel. If you're new to my channel, I actually do lots of retro gaming topics and cover many different things. Hit that like and subscribe button and click the bell if you want to be notified weekly of the videos that I make. And so, today, Sunsoft, Sega Genesis. You know, I'm a huge Sega Genesis fan. I've been collecting it a long time. And Sunsoft actually published 17 games, 13 in the States, 4 that were international. And I'm going to talk about these games and rank them. And these are going to be my rankings, my opinions. You may have different opinions. That's okay. There's going to be a link below where you can rank. First up is Aero the Acrobat. This is a platformer. It seemed like every company was doing their own take of Sonic the Hedgehog or Extreme Mascot, and this one is really average. The big issue with this one is control. I don't know why they thought it was a good idea to do diagonal attacks up and down, but this one doesn't work for me, and it's an average C. Just did not like that game. But the sequel was much better. Had better graphics, better control. Aero the Acrobat 2 was so much better in many different ways. I like the level design, the graphics. It just kind of took a different take with this one, and this is a much better game, and it's nice to give it a B. I really like Aero the Acrobat 2. All right, so next up is Batman the video game, and I was a big fan of '89 Batman movie. I actually saw it in the theaters, and this was a good game adaptation. And this to me is like everything that was in a Genesis game. It was different than the Nintendo version. It just had a Genesis look and feel. It's hard to explain. You kind of have to check it out. But it's a fairly short game. I did enjoy it. It actually follows the movie pretty closely, and I give this a B, a solid B. I'd give it a B plus if I had plus or minus added to some of these grades. So definitely Batman, one of the better Batman games for the 16-bit era. Batman Revenge of the Joker was an amazing Nintendo Entertainment System game. The Genesis one falls short. You know, and Sunsoft did this with a couple games. You know, I got really excited to see this on the Genesis, and when I played it, I didn't like the take they did with the graphics. It just, to me, just falls really short and disappointing. Very impressive Nintendo game is a big disappointment on the Genesis, and a lot of it is just they could have done so much more than what they did. I give this a D. Ugh. Man, what a disappointment. All right, next up is Beauty and the Beast game. Yeah, so Disney's Beauty and the Beast, Belle's Quest. Okay, and this is boring. There's nothing here that's worth going back and playing. It's very standard. I was bored to death in the first 5 minutes of playing this game, and so I'm not going to go back and play this. F. All right, they made another game, Beauty and the Beast, Roar of the Beast. And with this game, you know, supposedly it was just more action-oriented. I just found it frustrating. You know, with classics such as like Aladdin and Lion King, playing this is far from it. And so this is a D. Ugh. Man, that was a pair of disappointment there. I saw an advertisement of it in an EGM. I was really looking forward to playing Blaster Master 2. And boy, after playing this, the control, it was just not as cool as the original Nintendo game. It had, you know, inferior everything. Even the power-ups were just kind of lame compared to the original NES release. And I have to say, I'm going to give this a C. It's not completely terrible, but it's far from its champion original release on Nintendo. Yet another side-scrolling platformer, and that's Bubble and Squeak. And this kind of has kind of a gimmick where you have two characters and you work in conjunction to figure things out. This is just not the type of game that I would ever pick up and play in length. And while an okay platformer, it's kind of a collectathon with gems, and I don't know, I just thought the level design was just so-so. I'm going to give this a C. Australia Mega Drive had kind of a decent platformer Santa Claus game, and I played it. I like what I played so far. I didn't grow up with this. Obviously, it didn't come out in the States. I think that Days Before Christmas, some people think it's just kind of average. I like it a little bit above average. I like the graphics. It's a unique premise. There's not many Christmas video games, and so for me, I actually enjoy this. Has decent sound, and I'm going to give it a B. I love myself some brawlers, and there's several awesome brawlers and side-scrolling hack and slash games on the Sega Genesis, so it's a crowded market. And Sunsoft jumped into it and published Death and Return of Superman, and unfortunately there's several things about this game that could have been better. The big thing is it's single player. I don't think the graphics are that great. I think the enemies are kind of bland. It's kind of an okay level design. To me, it's just kind of standard. Like, it's just a good example of several Sunsoft games where they kind of phoned it in and it was published, but it wasn't anything you go back and revisit. I'm going to give this a C. This next game is a timeless classic, no matter what you play it on. I do prefer controlling this with a mouse, but I think the Genesis version of Lemmings, it offers additional levels, 2-player options, a lot of fun to play, and definitely something to go back and revisit. This is a solid release. Sunsoft published the first Lemmings game. I think it's awesome. I'm going to give that a B. Next up, probably one of the best that Sunsoft published, and that's Panorama Cotton. And I didn't grow up with this, played this way later. And honestly, the first time I played it, I actually thought it blew my mind with the sprites, the graphics. I felt like I was playing a 32X game. It's simply amazing. Now, the game itself is pretty challenging. You have 1 life, but you got a huge health bar. You can take many hits. This is a fantastic shooter, and one definitely, if you haven't checked it out, it's worth going back and revisit. It is very expensive with a physical copy, and so this is definitely, in my opinion, an A. Solid A. I love myself some 90s cartoons, and I loved watching Pirates of Dark Water, and the Sega Genesis version, which is different than the Super Nintendo one. I really enjoy what they did. It's an action platformer, and I really like what they did in this. You know, it has several references from the cartoon, and it's got good graphics, decent gameplay. I give this a solid B. Great cartoon, too, if you haven't checked out the cartoon. Good one. This is one that just kind of came out of nowhere. I didn't grow up with this. I didn't really know about it until recently. Sunsoft published a really cool puzzle game only in Japan, and that's ShiKinJou. And it's a great game. It's kind of hard to explain. At first, I just saw it as like, oh, yet another Mahjong game. No, it's a great puzzler. It's got, a couple hundred levels. I love that you can change the graphics too. You can change it into a knight or into like a ship. There's different graphics options. It even was a modem game back in the day, but you can even create your own levels. There's a lot to enjoy about this game. I really like it. It's addictive. It's got good graphics. It's got catchy sound. I definitely recommend you checking out this great puzzler. I found myself playing this quite a bit. I'm going to give it an A. All right, this next one was released on the Sega Genesis Mini. I'm so glad. And that's Super Fantasy Zone. It was the last Fantasy Zone to be released, and to me, one of the better ones. Great graphics, great sound. And if you're a fan of the Fantasy Zone series and haven't checked this out, you're in for a treat. This is everything that you would want in a 16-bit shooter. I really like it. It's got great gameplay, fairly challenging, great boss battles, solid A. What's up with these Sunsoft published games that we didn't get here in the States that were solid? I know some of the better titles were published elsewhere and not in the States. Really frustrating. Next up is just kind of an average game. What's up with Superman games just not being that great? I know they have like a history of just being average at best. And Superman, the first Superman game that Sunsoft published on the Sega Genesis, is just okay. Small graphics, okay gameplay. To me, I'm controlling a superhero. I'm not really controlling Superman. I don't feel super. Like, he's just flying around, and I don't know. I just thought it was fairly generic. I really just don't like the tiny graphics. To me, the Sega Genesis, you know, Altered Beast being one of the very first games I played on the Sega Genesis with those huge sprites and graphics. So going back and playing Superman with these little itty bitty sprites, ugh, no thanks. I'm going to give that a C. Last and definitely not least, and one that definitely wouldn't be published today, and that's Zero the Kamikaze Squirrel. This is kind of an offshoot of the Aero the Acrobat series. I thought it had good gameplay. I thought it had good graphics. I really liked the level design, and I found myself playing this. It is a lot of fun to play. It's above average. I like it on par with Aero the Acrobat 2. If you like that, you'll like this, and I would give it a solid B. So that's it. Those are my picks for Sunsoft published games. What are yours? Comment below and follow the link, and you can go rank your own, and I'd love to see what you rank things as. I have done other ranking videos. The links will be below to those videos, and I do many other types of videos on my channel. I cover collections, I talk about current events, and if you're interested, hit that like and subscribe button and click the bell as I'm uploading videos every week. You folks are wonderful and beautiful. Thank you for the ongoing positive support. This is the immortal John Hancock, and you take care.